All right, here's my trades for today. My first trade was on Snap. It was a second day play for me because I had a good setup on it yesterday. Um, if I look at yesterday here, it had a new volume come in and it went up to a key level, and I shorted it from here and got a good trade on it. And that happened yesterday. So I felt like if today price was at all around either $15 or 15.40, I was going to try and trade it again, potentially short it again at 15.40. Um, the way that I found that 15.40, I can show you here on the 15-minute. Price came up yesterday, stopped around that 15.40, and then I looked left and noticed that price opened and then sold off from 15.40 about a week ago. And then even further back, when it officially gapped down overnight, it made a nice sort of triple bottom onto that 1540. So this 1540 is a good higher time frame level, as well as it was a fresh level from yesterday, from sort of a new kind of fresh move. So I liked both of those things. Here's the 1 minute for today. So price opened around $14.80. I was looking left and hoping to potentially get in around here at 15.40, but also felt like that, when price came down and couldn't get lower than this 14.80-ish area, that maybe we're going to just get a continuation of this down move, and maybe it'll just be an opening range break, and it'll just start selling off from the open. So I tried that super small risk because I guess if I'm not really trading around what I feel like is a 10 out of 10 level or a good setup level, then I'm going to risk a lot smaller, or I'm going to risk with a much wider stop, stuff like that. And I did sort of like this trend line up really on the 15-minute. It's a really good trend line up. So, and this has been over two and a half weeks, and it's a pretty good trend line because it's hit twice here, another time here, and then just 2 days ago right here. So honestly, this is a pretty good higher lows going on. And then we have that 1540 as resistance up here. So we do have a compression essentially. So I guess, if I'm shorting anywhere today, I guess I knew in the back of my mind that it might not go any lower than $14 because of that big trend line up. But then I also had this sort of day and a half trend line to show me that, hey, this thing might also be compressing even more to go along with this bigger compression. So tried a little bit, got out of it, didn't like it. Then I saw it battling at $15, and I do remember 15 was a key level yesterday. So I tried it short again. Let me just zoom in here. So I tried it again right here, and then it came up and it just kept topping at 15. So I added in a little bit more, kept my risk really tight though, because I didn't want to risk too much. And then it did wick through, got to 15.05. So I was done with that for now. And I told myself I'd come back to it later if it came up to that 15.40, which it eventually did. I think I had only lost like 0.3R here. Like I said, super small risk. I almost was just kind of just wanted to dip my toes in it and see what it was going to do. But up here, I did get heavier, not as heavy as I would have liked, because really the SPY was pretty strong. I was bullish on the SPY unless SPY got under that key support area of the last 5-day range. So since the SPY was holding that and was going up, I felt like the SPY might be a decent long. So I felt like the front side of any shorts that I wanted to do today, I felt like the front sides were going to be trickier. So that did lower my conviction to this level, even though, like I said, I loved this level. I traded it yesterday. From here, you can see it came up, climactic volume, turned around right there. So it did come up here. I waited and watched it, and it did wick through it. And then I had a limit order up here already, and then I just pulled it down right around 1540. I think it was 1537, and I think it was risking like 0.4 R maybe, and then got a good move. And when it came down here, obviously I was wishing that I had gotten in even heavier, more like a 1 R move. But like I said, I had reasons to not get in heavy. And honestly, this was pretty fast, and I felt like maybe it'll come up again, or maybe it'll pull back, and then I'll get in for the bigger move. Maybe we'll get this, we'll break low of day, break this trend line, and then we'll have a bigger move down to the 14. Who knows? So I got out of a lot of my position and added in, thinking, this thing needs to continue to sell off. If it doesn't, I don't know if I fully believe it. So I got in some. I took off a little bit there, and then you can see, volume starting to pick up again as it goes up, and then got stopped out at break even. Then I guess I tried it a few more times, probably similar size around here, but with, knowing how fast it came up here, all of that. So again, I wasn't losing too much, really keeping my risk manageable. My goal really is to never lose more than 1 R on a ticker, and if I do, I'm done with the ticker. So I guess I always want price to go to that best level. That way I can risk up to 1 R and really be convicted in it. But it's just hard to risk 1 R or close to it when I'm not by that really good level. It's just, I'm learning that it's just really, really tough to chase it. So for example, if Snap came up here and then got down to like here, 1525, right? And then felt like it was making sort of a shoulder ahead and another shoulder. So it wasn't going to go up much higher than 1525, but just in case I wanted to hide behind 1540, well, that's a pretty substantial wide stop. And sure, maybe I'm confirmed that, hey, this is bouncing. I can hide behind the shoulder, but I also want to hide a hair up here. I can risk 1 R, but that's just so much for it to come back. I don't like watching it come all the way back and then showing almost a negative 1 R before it bounces again. It's just, so what I'm saying is I'm super aware when I'm not trading near the big level. And so I really lower my risk. And I just tell myself, you know what, if it does end up going from here and never goes back up there, I'll just keep watching it and I'll add in at some other point, and let it give me another fresh level to get it on. But anyways, tried it a few more times. And then, so what was going on here was the SPY was ripping. SPY was moving almost the whole time. During this time, SPY was continuing to make new highs, I believe. But Snap wasn't, right? So it did break this 1540, got up to almost 1550, but just couldn't keep going. And so I felt like, you know what? I've kind of wasted a lot of energy on this. I don't really want to try it anymore. I don't like it. However, man, if it just doesn't keep going, and if it gets back under 1540 and then the SPY eventually does do a bigger pullback, which I felt like it was going to need to at some point, then it would probably give up and go down from 1540 because it wasn't continuing. So that's what I did. It broke down, retest, got in, I think risking again like a half an R, and then got a decent partial here, held for a while. Thought maybe you'd get through 15 maybe, but then just got all out. I was tired of it. So I guess it was a decent trade. I don't know. It wasn't like an A+ trade. I just liked this fresh level. But I think I managed it and took care of my risk well enough to make it a trade. So all right, so SPY I traded later. However, I did swing it in my Fidelity account. I just really liked this daily. Obviously we're in a downtrend. However, we've seen more of an uptrend in the last month. So we had a consolidation here. We broke down in May, did a nice double bottom, might have capitulated here for the time being, and then made a new lower high. And now we're holding this lower high. So unless price gets under 407, unless price really comes down here, it is a long for me this way. It's a long here, and then it's a short up here. And so it just happened to be that price was opening right around down here. So to me, that's sort of an ORB potential. When you're right on the edge of the range, you have price opening right there. That's where you get that sort of explosive move away from the level right at the open. But I haven't been trading SPY all that much, especially not at the open. So what I did was I just got in my Fidelity, and I actually wanted to do some options because I had that really good successful option trade on Walmart. And I'm like, well, I'm constantly looking for stocks to trade in my swing account, but SPY is just so liquid and there's so many options all the time. Those ETFs are basically some of the best to do option trading. However, I just couldn't come up with a strategy on how to get in this setup. I tried to come up with spreads above, spreads below. Basically, I wanted to do some type of directional options trade, but I don't know, I couldn't figure out the risk reward correctly. I kept trying different things and just didn't like it. So what I ended up doing was I just, right before the open, I put in my account, hey, I'm going to buy a lump sum of shares right at the open for market value. And I was just going to keep an eye on SPY. And then as long as it didn't get below 407, I was just going to hold on to it. And I guess the bigger goal was going to be, if I'm correct, I could probably hold the majority of these shares towards the top of the range, right? Because we're at the bottom, good risk reward, and usually, there's a good potential it could go at least halfway or to the top. So I just happened to be correct on that. It pretty much went long right from the open. Like I said, if it got under 407, I was going to get in my Fidelity account and get out. I didn't put a stop in place. I just told myself I'd get out. I wasn't risking a ton, but basically it was around 1R. So I bought some shares. I think I got in around I think it filled me around 408, maybe 408.25, somewhere around there. And so then here's what I sort of did and how I analyzed it throughout the day. I mean, I really liked how strong it was, basically. I knew we were at the bottom. I knew the target was at least the top, maybe the potential for this to eventually break and then go towards the next resistance. What I liked today was it did sort of a double top and then a triple top. And then by 10:30 a.m., bust through this triple top high of day with volume. So it only took it an hour to move all that, and then fresh new volume came in. So as this was going up, I was like, I'm not going to mess with my swing account until we get up near 416. I'm going to try my best not to partial. And, I was thinking about partialing because I'm like, man, this thing moved up so well for me. I'm going to get out of some of it in here. But what I ended up doing was I actually liked it for a day trade right here. So what I did was when price came back down here to around 411, I got back into my Fidelity account and I bought another half an hour worth of shares. So essentially I bought 1 hour down here and then I bought another half an hour down here. And then that raised my average price to, I think, around 409.25 or something. So right around here. And I guess I told myself if price starts to come down, I'm still going to hold it because I sort of liked this flag here. And I don't know, I just was sort of relaxed about it. Didn't really think about it too hard. But I just happened to be correct on that stuff because it did go long from here. So what I liked about this is I just really liked, a double top and then it comes up again right away and then rips through it with brand new volume, increasing volume, igniting volume. And so this to me was a fresh level, a super good level. And even though it extended quite a bit, I loved how VWAP was coming up. And I love it when I have a really good fresh level that aligns with VWAP. And the other thing I really liked about this was the time of day. like I said, by 10:30, it only took it an hour. This thing was trending and exploding up, right? Then you had that nice sort of middle of the day pullback from 10:45 all the way to about 12:15. So by 12:15, it came all the way back to a really good entry point, and you still had almost 4 hours to go. So the fact that it was only 12:15 and we were right here told me that there's a really good chance if this thing doesn't break back down and do some kind of big failed breakout, it will. It's got plenty of time to at least come to high of day, and who knows, maybe it could get up to 416. And so those were my thoughts. I just felt like this was really good looking. This volume was really good looking. The time of day was also really good looking. VWAP moving up with it, converging right there was really good looking. It just felt like a really good risk reward potential. Yeah, plenty of time to do another move. So I fought this a little bit. I was sort of talking myself out of it a little bit. I went long here. I really wanted to go long as close as I could to 410.50 because it was pretty precise 410.50 here. But I just felt like, man, at any point this thing is probably going to just kind of make a new 5-minute high and go. You know, it might not even show any kind of volume change. It might just be sort of something happens and it goes. Maybe I could have been watching the tape a bit more. But anyways, I got in long here, risking underneath 410.50, I think about 410.40. So it's pretty wide stop, which I didn't like. And then I didn't like how fast it came back down right here. So I got out of half, got back into the other half. And then of course, then it comes down really quick. So I got out of all of it. I think I was down 0.9 R. So again, like the 1 R max risk per ticker is so important. And I kind of got lucky here because really I was down 0.9 R on this ticker. And then I went ahead and risked 1 R again underneath, you know, risking about 410.40, getting in right here at 411. So I could have easily been, you know, if I would have gotten stopped out, I would have been down 1.9 R approximately, and that wouldn't have been good. And, you know, from the beginning, I had the right idea, and my stop still would have never been hit. It was just wasn't as convicted in it. But I still liked it. So I got in long and then made it all the way up to the high of day and then held a little bit more. Wasn't sure if it could make it to 416. Felt like it did sort of a double top up there. And then I got out of the remaining. Definitely could have made a little bit more in here. Shouldn't have partialed a second time right here. That was pretty much my only mistake. I don't mind taking a partial here because you had this sort of double top neckline right here. And then, you know, another partial near high of day. And then I almost tried another long here, but I was thinking I was definitely pushing it, you know, getting cute with it. So I left it alone, but you can just see how strong it was. It just kept holding its nice support levels and made it all the way up to 416. So I got a good day trade on it. I ended up making back that negative 0.9 R. And I think I ended up with like 2.6 R total. So I guess I probably made over 3 R on this successful trade. So that's good. Should have made more, but that's all right. And my swing account, I did get back in my swing account and into the close. We were right at 416. That was my target. So I got out of 2/3 of my position. So I got in about 1 R here, added in another half an R here, and then into the close, saw we were hitting 416, which if you look on the daily here, actually, let's look on the mid time frame. You can see this is more precise here. Right around here, right? So you have it into the close top, and then high of day here right at 416.50, and then 416.20 at the open, high of day. Then resistance again a few days ago. So yeah, 416.50 was my general target. So got got that range move from 408 to 416. So I got out of 2/3 of my swing position for the potential for a continuation or a breakout. I don't know if that's really going to happen. You know, we could eventually break this and see a new high, and I think we could have then another extended move. You know, we might have pullbacks too, though, and then keep going, and maybe we could reach. Well, 420 would probably be a good psych level, but who knows? Maybe we could get to 430, which is this area right here. This would be the next big resistance. So I guess if we do end up breaking 416, 417 here in the next few days, I'll hold on to that third of my position, and who knows? Maybe I'll add, and then I'll just kind of ride that. I'll free roll it. I'll add and bring my stop up to like 415, 416, and then ride it for that potential. But I'm not sure just yet. I've already made that good amount of money, that 2/3, so I'm sort of free rolling at this point and just seeing where it can go. But who knows? Maybe this will keep bouncing up and down in here. Oh, okay. So yeah, I also traded AMD. Gosh, I don't even remember what I did on AMD. Okay, so here's what I liked on AMD. DOS has too many glitches. I liked this sort of 105 level combined with a breakup and then a second day inside and then a third day inside. So basically I was playing the long somewhere above this 105, 104, 104.50. It's kind of confusing. So here was that sort of break up, and then it made a nice range resistance yesterday, and it was sort of using this as a bottom. Okay, so I felt like if it broke out of yesterday's low, but then got back above it, I wanted to get long because I was bullish on the SPY, so I thought maybe AMD would also eventually come back up to its high. And so I got in long. I know I fought it a little bit. I got in long, watched it, and then I think I got out of some and then got back in some. So I think I took off some and then got back in, and then got a partial, got another partial, was holding, I thought hopefully this top would hold, and then I would just hold for an extended move. Then it got back under, so I partialed a couple times, and then I told myself, well, I'm running out of shares here, so if it gets back above this 105, sort of does a fake head and shoulders, gets back above, I'll buy into the momentum and then bring the stop pretty close, and it got me out. It stopped me out. So I got in heavier and then it stopped me out. And I'm totally fine because I don't even like, I don't like how this is moving anyway. So I didn't care about that. I mean, I was just hoping maybe it would just keep going. If not, yeah, I mean, just looking at it now, it makes sense why it was tricky because it really didn't want to move too well today. So glad how I managed that. Wasn't an A+ trade at all, but I made like 0.4 R on it. So okay, so I also traded Roblox. Not really sure. This is sort of just playing these compression inside days, honestly. The daily is nothing special. You can see how it really is just sort of compressing. But when I looked at the sort of like the 5-minute zoomed out, I liked this this top here at around 3180, right? So it broke down, pulled back right here, and then the next day that was high of day, and then today it actually hit it and then rejected it. So it came up to it again, and I wanted to short it up there, or at least watch it and see. But there was this trend line going up, so I did feel like I wasn't going to get some kind of crazy move. I felt like 31 was a big area with the potential for maybe to go to like low of day, maybe 30 at the most. But like this is a pretty decent trend line, and everything was sort of trending up. So, you know, I knew that everything was just still had those higher lows going on for it. So, so here's the 1 minute. Like I said, came up here, hit that area that I liked and rejected it, and then moved all the way up again. And I was watching it. It then failed to keep going, which I like those. Got back under, so I got in, risking just above here, right? Sort of the shoulder right here. And then it came down, came all the way back up, and it was getting close to my stop. And a lot of times when I think I'm going to get stopped out, but I'm hiding behind a level I really like, I just look at that as another potential to add in a little bit more for not that much more risk. So I wasn't so heavy here, but then it came back up, still liked it. So I got in, doubled my shares here with the pretty similar stop. And then partialed at the low, at the sort of earlier resistance. And then it did bounce there and then broke through it. And then I started trying to draw some trend lines to kind of give me eyeball what was going on. Felt like it could go through VWAP. You know, I liked this bigger trend line. I felt like, you know, the RVOL was lower. RVOL was like around 50 or 60%. So I'm like, if this thing is not breaking out, it hasn't broken out yet, did a failed breakout, this thing's just going to revert back to the mean. I think it could come back down to low of day. And so I got a good partial here and was running out of shares, so I added in and then got out. Oh, wait, no. I added in and got out of some of that and then added in for the momentum and then got stopped out. And then one more. I feel like I traded a lot today. This was sort of the same thing. I was just really wanting to short stuff. I actually liked XPEV more. If you look at the 15-minute, I can see you have this really nice trend line up. So clearly it's trending up. But then the last 3 days, you had a really consistent top here at 25.60. Now this was in the pre-market, so this doesn't count as much. This was at tinfoil line, I think. No, this was in the middle of the night. But then here, yesterday, high of day, aligned perfectly with it. And so I felt like if it came up to here, you know, I was trying to short Roblox. I was trying to short Snap. Felt like that was another decent one. And yeah, so I think I got in a little bit early or late. So I felt like that might have been when it hit it. So then I got in short and then got out early. Didn't like it. You know, everything was sort of up high of day and I was a little worried. But then, of course, it comes up a little higher, hits the actual level, and then rejects it. And that would have been a really decent move because I really liked it. I would have gotten in pretty tight here and made a good partial, probably near VWAP. And it even almost got, oh man, it got perfectly to 25 whole dollars. So I would have got a decent 60, 70 cent move there. So I liked that the most. And then up here, I don't know, I felt like I saw something in the tape and I was doing some kind of like iceberg limit order thing right at 80 cents. 80 cents was really holding. And so I tried to short it, risking like 3 cents. And then it stopped me out. So didn't lose that much there. But I don't know, it's kind of stupid. So overall, I had a really good day. Even though it was kind of tough. That SPY trade could have been much better if I wouldn't have lost that 0.9R by just kind of over trading it and not waiting it out. And then I was happy with that SPY swing trade that worked out. And that's about it. I'll talk to you later.